Okay, several people had written me on the YouTube and asked me, do I do any cowboys? And yeah, I do a few. I've done some before, and they said, well, from Texas, you should do a lot of them. Well, I don't always do a whole lot of them, but I know they're real popular down here in Texas, and they're a lot of fun to do. They really are. I'm not the greatest cowboy carver, that's for sure. There's a lot of people that are just fantastic cowboy carvers. One, if you ever go to a website called Out West Gallery Woodcarving, Lynn, he's probably one of the best cowboy carvers and caricature cowboy carvers around. But I thought I'd try to get as simple one as possible for us to do today. And as you see, I've cut him out on a bandsaw, but I want you to understand that it would be hard to do it out of, it's not hard to do it out of a block of wood, it's just so much waste you'd have to remove, it would take forever. And so I've cut him out on a bandsaw. Now here's the pattern, it's a simple pattern that I used, and I don't cut out the side profile. I just cut out the front, and that's the profile of him right there. And as you can see, I put him on the bandsaw and put him on tracing paper. You put this on tracing paper over a block of wood, and you go over it, and it traces the pattern out, and you just cut it. That's all you do on your bandsaw. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our knives, and we're going to start carving the cowboy. Now, like I said, I like to work around. Of course, here's his hat up here, his brim of his hat, his face, his body, and of course his boots. And usually when I start on a figure, I just sort of rounding him off is what I do. In a lot of ways, just sort of round off those edges and take off those edges that we do right in here, and sort of separating the boots a little bit. There you go. Just sort of getting things kind of going my way at first. Usually that's what happens when you first start. You just sort of start getting those those edges off the back of it. There's a work around. In between the legs here, when you first start, like I said, you just sort of start getting him kind of rounded off so you can kind of look at him and have a general idea of what you want to do. Okay. Cowboys, like I said, they're real popular in Texas. I've sold a lot of little cowboys in Texas. Other places you can't hardly get rid of them. It just depends on where you are, and where you're selling. I don't sell a lot of my pieces. I have a job where I work in a chemical plant, and I just don't really have time to travel around and sell things and go to craft shows, as a lot of people do. But maybe one day when I retire, I hope so, I can spend some time doing that. But I'll just spend it showing you how to carve here. See, we're just sort of rounding him off a little bit. Now, when we get up to the hat up here, let me get my pencil here. This is where the hat and the face meet, right in here. And this is where the brim is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line across here and a line across here to show you where the brim is. And of course the brim's going to, I'm going to start cutting away on that brim on that hat. Just like this, see? And go on the other side. The reason I work from both sides, as I've told you, is because it sort of shows me how I can even things up. You start cutting off too much on one side or not enough, but this way I'm able to see exactly what it looks like from my view. Then I go to the other side. I take some wood off here. Now, as you can see, on this figure, I'm using the same type. Here's the paring cut that I'm using right here. See? Which I use for most of my cuts. I'll use a push cut. There's the push cut, see? Just sort of like that. But as I've told you before, this is just, I'm not now I know a lot of times when I upload a YouTube video that the screen becomes smaller. So a lot of times when you're watching these, if you go to the little button on the right that enlarges it, you can get a better idea of the cuts that I'm making. I know sometimes things are hard to see, but if you enlarge the picture or enlarge the screen,